I just went outside to grab a little street barbecue. Yet out of nowhere, a breathtaking top-tier beauty suddenly rushed in and kissed me before I could even react. Then I heard the crisp, sharp voice of the woman echoing out, "See that? This is my new boyfriend. I can find someone new in an instant, which means I'm a certified player. So stop clinging to me already." The woman in my arms pressed herself tightly against me, while the man standing opposite us looked completely incredulous. Right after that, he went totally berserk, clenching his fists and charging straight toward me. Everything happened way too fast. Instinctively, I held the girl tight and bolted to my feet, taking a step back to dodge that guy's wild attack. I was so terrified that my heart felt like it was about to leap out of my chest. Before I could say a word, that drop-dead, gorgeous beauty lost her patience and cursed straight to his face. "Song Yi, damn it, will you cut it the hell out? Chun Xin, you really are a heartless jerk. I treated you so ridiculously well, yet you didn't love me at all. You don't have a heart." Chun Xin just burst out with a sneering laugh. "I was only saving face for you by putting it nicely. Who was the one that went and booked a hotel room with that chick from the sports academy first, huh?" The moment those words were blurted out, Song Yu was instantly struck speechless. You investigated me?" Chun Xin's gaze turned ice cold. "Are you even worthy of that?" Song Yi couldn't squeeze out a single word for half a minute, glaring at her viciously before turning around and running off. I finally breathed a massive sigh of relief. Only then did I suddenly realize that I was still holding and tightly hugging this girl named Chun Xin the entire time. I am so sorry." It was only at this moment that she raised her eyes to look at me, her gaze filled with a cautious, analyzing glare. I put on a thoroughly confused expression, and right at that precise second, a girl arrived, panting heavily, running over. "Sister Chin, why did you run out here? I've been looking for you for ages. Here, take this." Seeing that bad-tempered beauty had finally walked away, I didn't bother giving them another thought either. I turned right back to my seat, continuing to devour my barbecue feast. Honestly, I don't know if it was out of sheer frustration or pure hunger, but I went completely wild, stuffing skewers and chugging beer non-stop into my mouth, eating until I physically couldn't. Cram another bite in. As expected, retribution arrived ridiculously fast. By midnight, my stomach was twisting in agonizing cramps as if I were about to meet my maker. My whole body turned sickly pale, drenched in cold sweat until near dawn, when I finally drifted into a hazy stupor. By the time I woke up again, I was entirely soaked in sweat. Dragging my exhausted body to take a shower, I cooked a pot of porridge and sat alone at the table, eating bite by bite. The house was eerily silent, with only the sharp clinking of the spoon against the bowl. But right as I finished my meal, the front door suddenly clicked, unlocked by someone from the outside. A middle-aged woman wearing formal business attire stepped inside, and my eyes instantly lit up. Mom. However, my mother merely walked over to me with total cold indifference. "I found a school for you. Classes start tomorrow. Here is your living allowance for this month. I need to go abroad for a month. If you run out of money, just call me later." Having said that, she walked straight upstairs to pack her luggage, and soon came down rolling a large suitcase. From beginning to end, she didn't spare me a single second glance. "Mom, have a safe trip," I called out, but the response I got was nothing more than dead silence. On the table lay a crisp, brand-new enrollment notice, alongside a cold stack of cash, and that was the absolute extent of maternal love she had for me. Meanwhile, at the racetrack organized by Bosa University, roaring engines vibrated through the air. Behind the wheel was none other than that red-haired beauty, Chun Xin. As she drifted through the curve, her car practically scraped the asphalt, crossing the finish line in the blink of an eye. "Sister Chin, you went absolutely insane today. We couldn't even see your taillights. If you're trash, go train harder. Sister Chin, drop by Hanxiao Club tomorrow for a bit. I heard a ton of newcomers just joined." Unexpectedly, Chun Xin only gave a faint smirk, got straight back in her car, revved the engine, and sped away. "Hey, Sister Chin, are you going or not? Wait for me." However, that evening, right outside Hanxiao Club, as Chun Xin and Xie Linlin stepped inside. "Sister Chin, Sister Linlin, the usual, right?" "Ah, yeah. By the way, Call Xie Jian over here. Yes, ma'am. I'll set it up immediately. However, I had absolutely no clue that. Just as Chun Xin and her squad entered the VIP room, in a completely different place, I was currently dealing with something that brought me utter misery. The next morning, on a chilly, crisp autumn day in September, I walked all alone to school. This was the brand new golden cage my mother had arranged for me. I heard this university boasts a long, rich history, ancient, elegant, and grand, yet I couldn't bring myself to feel excited at all. First, I headed straight to the principal's office, getting to meet such a legendary figure, someone who previously only existed in textbooks. Honestly had my heart pounding with a bit of excitement. He was extremely kind and gentle, swiftly completing my enrollment paperwork. Then, he instructed me to go find my academic advisor. Pushing open the office door and stepping inside, I saw a woman with immaculate makeup, but a stern, unforgiving expression sitting within. She picked up my transcript, gave it a mere glance, and carelessly tossed it aside. I don't care what middle-of-nowhere backwater town you came from before, or how good your grades were. Now that you've arrived at our university, everything resets back to absolute zero. Her tone was dripping with pure, unadulterated contempt. Maybe you were top of your class back home, but at our prestigious university, you probably won't even scrape into the top 100 of your grade. Only then did the advisor pull out a form from the cabinet and slap it right in front of me. This is the uniform requisition form. After class, go down to the student union warehouse and fetch it yourself. However, just as I held that form, thinking I could finally turn over a new leaf and start fresh, Chun Xin over at the bar was orchestrating a whole different scene. Inside the VIP room, Sister Qin, are you going home tonight, or staying upstairs at the club? Chun Xin, 21 years old, attending the exact same university as me. Only then did Chun Xin slowly open her eyes, muttering softly, going home, just as Xie Linlin was about to add something else. The door to the VIP lounge was suddenly pushed open. Yo, if it isn't our very own Miss Chun Xin, what kind of lucky breeze blew you into this tiny little joint today, huh? Looking for your big brother. For something? He plopped right down next to Chun Xin with a heavy thud, raising his eyebrows as he stared at her. Yet Chun Xin merely offered him a completely indifferent glance, before shutting her eyes again. This time, Xie Linlin panicked and leaned close to Zhao Jian. Jian, hurry up and call the guy's Sister Qin. Likes over here. She's been acting totally soulless all day. Only then did Zhao Jian seriously evaluate Chun Xin, who was sitting there with her eyes closed, her brows tightly knitted together. Subconsciously, he reached his hand out to stroke her head. But Chun Xin, as if possessing a sixth sense, instantly snapped her head away, her expression turning utterly foul, coldly leaving behind a single sentence. I have things to take care of. Leaving first. Xie Linlin stared at her decisive, retreating back, and immediately scrambled after her. Sister Qin, wait up for me. The academic advisor led me straight into the classroom. I heard that anyone who manages to get accepted into this university will, upon graduation, become top-tier talent poached by massive corporations. However, I couldn't care less about any of those high-sounding promises. I just hoped to peacefully and quietly turn a new leaf in life. Yet I never, ever expected that the moment I pushed open the door, the scene inside would completely suffocate me. The entire lecture hall was dead silent. Every single student hunched over, studying intently with their heads down. Not a single person was slacking off. The advisor tapped firmly on the podium desk, and all at once, every head snapped right up. Dozens of pairs of eyes instantly locked their gaze directly onto me. She jerked her chin, giving me a silent signal to introduce myself. Staring down at the dense crowd below, my heart suddenly began hammering frantically against my chest, my palms drenched in cold sweat as painful memories of being bullied in the past came flooding back all at once. My face turned deathly pale, my voice trembling uncontrollably, yet I still managed to force the words out. Just call me Yi Chun, that'll do. The moment the words left my mouth, I waited in pure tension for the expected wave of mockery to crash over me. Yet right at that critical moment, a crisp, enthusiastic round of applause suddenly burst through the room. Following the sound of the clapping, I spotted a female student wearing silver-framed glasses. Immediately after, the entire class joined in, clapping along with her. The advisor scanned the room with a quick glance, then assigned me to a seat, which, as fate would have it, was directly behind the girl who led the applause. I walked down and had barely settled in when a sudden voice boomed from the doorway. Reporting in, the entire class's attention was instantly drawn to the entrance. And out of curiosity, I turned to look too. But the second I caught a clear sight of her face, I froze completely dead in my tracks. It was none other than that vibrant, red-haired beauty from the other day. She seemed to feel my gaze on her as well, lazily sweeping her eyes right over to me. With just that single look, I clearly picked up on the sheer disgust radiating from her eyes, a raw, unadulterated contempt emanating from the bottom of her heart without a single attempt to hide it. Did I have some kind of deep-seated vendetta with her? Seeing her eye-catchingly bright red hair, the advisor frowned with deep irritation. "What's your name, student?" "Chun-Chin." Hearing that name, the advisor's furrowed brows instantly smoothed out in a flash. "Why are you only arriving just now?" "Faith, Mom, do you seriously intend to pry into your students' private lives too?" Having said that, she didn't even bother waiting for the teacher to respond. Walking straight into the classroom and arrogantly slumping into a seat in the back row. Seeing her brazen attitude, the advisor didn't push the matter any further. Simply resuming her lecture, she plowed through the material at a dizzying, breakneck speed. Lacking a textbook, I was forced to lean forward and share one with my desk mate. The curriculum here was light years apart from what I had previously studied. After 2 grueling lectures, I felt entirely lost in a thick fog, feeling more suffocated with every passing second. The second class ended, I instantly slumped my face onto the desk, that heavy chest tightness pressing down so hard I could barely breathe. Suddenly, someone tapped lightly on my desk. I turned my head. It turned out to be the female student sitting right in front of me. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine," though my sickly, pale face completely betrayed my words. "Go grab some warm water to drink. You really don't look good at all. There are disposable paper cups in the cabinet over there." Dimly, "Thanks." Fighting through the searing pain, I stood up and headed toward the water dispenser cabinet, but to my absolute dismay, this damn cabinet door was stuck tight. I tried pulling a few times, but couldn't pry it open no matter what. Just as I was about to go look for a tool to force it open, a soft, mocking chuckle sounded right beside my ear. Turning my head to look, I saw Chun-Chin resting her chin lightly on her hand, a rebellious, aloof smirk playing on her face. I chose to ignore her, casting my eyes down to find a ruler, but the very next second, a pair of familiar white sneakers unexpectedly appeared right beside me. It was the female classmate from the desk in front of me. "Why did you come over here?" She gave the cabinet door a gentle nudge, and it instantly popped right open. I just saw an idiot who couldn't even open a cabinet door, so I came over to lend a hand, that's all. "I'm sorry." But right in the middle of this awkward and embarrassing moment, "Hey, listen here, you two. Could you not stand right next to me, dragging your feet and acting all touchy-feely? It's literally making me want to throw up my entire meal." The girl from the front desk frowned slightly. "Chun-Chin, you." Chun-Chin curled her lips in a sneer. "Are you even worthy of calling my name? Pei-Ruyan?" Right as the tension between the two was reaching a boiling point, Pei-Ruyan didn't say another word, letting out a cold, sharp snort before turning around and walking away. Staring at Pei-Ruyan's retreating back, a sudden, involuntary shudder ran right down my spine. "What's the matter? Falling in love? Already just from that? Don't tell me you actually have a crush on that green tea bitch." I snapped my head up, only to see a small, gorgeous face zoomed in right in front of my eyes. Startled, I scrambled back a step. "What on earth are you doing? What a coward. Why do you always pop up out of nowhere like a ghost?" Unexpectedly, she narrowed her eyes slightly, stepping closer and closer toward me. I kept backing away. "What do you want?" Chun-Chin stared at my panicked state, and a fleeting glint of guilt flashed across her face for a split second. Wait, why was I even so terrified of her in the first place? Right at that exact moment, Pei-Ruyan burst back in. "Chun-Chin, what do you think you're doing?" Chun-Chin glanced at Pei-Ruyan, then shot a quick look back at me, that tiny glimmer of guilt. An overwhelming surge of agonizing guilt, instantly vanishing without a trace, leaving behind only a look of pure, unadulterated disgust, plastered across her face. She walked straight back to her seat, slumping down to mess around on her phone. Yi-chin, are you all right? I'm Yufine. Don't worry. After classes ended for the day, I was the sole person left behind in the classroom. Resting my chin in my hand, I gazed at the magnolia blossoms outside the window, my mind in total disarray. Why on earth was I so utterly terrified of her? Packing up my backpack, I stepped out of the classroom. The late afternoon twilight had painted half the sky in a brilliant crimson. I couldn't help but pull out my phone to snap a quick photo. Yet the exact moment I finished snapping the shot, just as I was angling my phone down, a figure suddenly intruded right into the camera lens. A girl with vibrant, fiery red hair. She seemed to sense something amiss as well. To my horror, my hand trembled and accidentally hit the shutter button again. Without even taking time to delete it, I decisively locked my phone screen and shoved it straight into my bag. Glancing back at that exact spot, there was no one there anymore, not even a faint shadow in sight. Could I have just been seeing things? Suddenly, a familiar voice boomed right behind me. What the hell are you staring at? Spinning around, I came face to face with Chun-Chin. She stared at me with a smug, self-satisfied smirk. What's the matter? Were you looking for me? You were using your phone to secretly take pictures of me just now, weren't you? I instantly wanted to fire back. I wasn't sneaking photos of you. You're the one who wandered into my camera frame. Yet those defiant words were ones I only dared to scream inside my head. Chun-Chin let out an icy snort. Hand it over. Though my heart was trembling, I obediently handed my phone right over. She snatched it up, opened the photo album, and swiped to the top picture, sneering. You're pretty obsessed with me too, aren't you? I was rendered completely speechless. She then swiped to the next photos, all scenery shots I had taken over time. Losing interest in a flash, she began flicking through them rapidly, until suddenly, one particular photo made her freeze dead in her tracks. She had barely looked at it for even 2 seconds, before a slender hand, its knuckle joints defined with striking clarity, snatched the phone right back. I turned on my heel and bolted for my life. My speed matching someone being hunted by a literal demon. Chun-Chin stared after my retreating back, her mind still completely consumed by the image she had just seen. It showed arms, thighs, stomach, cheeks, and shoulders completely covered in severe, terrifying purple bruises, swollen welts, and dried blood. A truly horrifying sight to behold. Subconsciously, she reached out, her fingers brushing against the tattoo on her collarbone. That evening, when Chun-Chin pushed the door open to come home, she saw the villa, brilliantly illuminated with bright lights, making her pause in surprise for a brief second. Yet as if remembering something, a self-deprecating smirk formed on her lips. Without even bothering to change out of her shoes, she walked straight inside. Spotting Chun-Hui sitting on the sofa, the corner of her mouth curved into a mocking smile. Waiting for me? Chun-Chin walked over, keeping her distance from him. What do you want, Chun-Hui? What on earth do you want, huh? I chose to bully him, so what of it? Chun-Hui turned around in a fit of rage, glaring venomously at her. You unfilial monster. Chun-Chin, do you even have any idea what you're doing? A brat whose mother gave birth to her, without a father to raise her. What kind of garbage could you possibly turn out to be? Before the words even fully left his lips, Chun-Hui raised his palm and delivered a stinging slap straight to her face. Chun-Chin tilted her head slightly, her delicate face growing even colder beneath the overhead lights. Pressing her lips tightly together, she didn't utter a single sound, turning on her heel to walk upstairs. The hand Chun-Hui had used to strike her was still trembling slightly. Returning to her room, Chun-Chin stepped straight into the bathroom. Staring at her slightly swollen cheek in the mirror, the edges of her eyes turned instantly red. Early the very next morning, I scrambled to rush to school. Members of the disciplinary committee were standing guard at the main gates, logging down the names of every tardy student. Covering my face, I let out a heavy sigh. Late on the absolute first day of school. This is truly embarrassing. Resigned to my fate, I stepped forward a few paces, when playful, teasing laughter suddenly sounded from right behind me. Oh my, look at this handsome guy. Glancing sideways, I slightly furrowed my brows at the hand draped over my shoulder, shifting my body to the side to dodge her touch. The person gave an awkward chuckle and retracted her hand. My bad. I was being a bit too abrupt. Recognizing her identity, I merely cast a cold, indifferent glance her way. I had never met this girl before, yet her demeanor was unsettlingly familiar. Are you the new transfer student? In the same class as Sister Chin? Right at that moment, a drowsy, nasal voice boomed from behind. What on earth are you doing? Oh, Sister Chin, you actually brought a backpack to school today. Judging by your looks, you must have pulled another all-nighter, huh? Chun Chin glared viciously at her, then brushed right past her, continuing straight ahead. Xia Linlin hurriedly trotted right behind her. When Chun Chin walked past me, her footsteps paused for a brief second, before she resumed, walking toward the school gates, with a completely blank, expressionless face. At the gate, the disciplinary team blocked our way. A girl from the squad reached out her arm to stop her, her tone firm and unyielding. Chun Chin raised her eyes, her pitch-black gaze staring dead into her opponent's. The girl felt an instant wave of panic under that terrifying stare. Another disciplinary member, standing beside her, frantically tugged her sleeve, whispering urgently, "Just let her through." Chun Chin is a total anomaly in this school. Top grades, insanely powerful family background. Even the principal has to show her respect. Just let her pass. Don't go bringing disaster upon yourself. The girl hesitated for a second, but ultimately dropped her arm. Chun Chin retracted her cold gaze, turning around to call Xia Linlin, only to catch Xia Linlin glaring intensely at me. Later that afternoon in the park, Xia Linlin was clutching her stomach on the ground, laughing so hard tears burst from her eyes. Chun Chin sat on a swing, a bandage plastered over her forehead. Hearing her uncontrollable laughter, she lowered her eyes, casting a sharp glare. Xia Linlin wiped her tears, standing up to tease her playfully. Sister Chin, I'm not trying to criticize you, but your guts are seriously out of this world. You actually dared to pick a fight with your old man? If you didn't get slapped across the face, who else would? Chun Chin glared at her, surprisingly remaining silent for once. Seeing the side of her, Xia Linlin instantly knew that her mood was currently absolutely terrible. She let out a soft sigh, drifting back into memory lane. That Chun Chin, man, a deep, heavy sigh as he sank back into his memories. That girl, Chun Chin, huh? About a year ago. With a strikingly delicate, yet fiercely arrogant face alongside god-tier drifting skills, she took the student street racing scene completely by storm. On the track, she was the absolute wild king. Off the track, she was entirely wild, erratic, and unrestrained. Waves of desperate admirers swarmed around her, replaced batch after batch. Yet I knew in my heart that aside from high-speed racing, she had never truly given her heart away to anyone. Sometimes, I genuinely wished to see what kind of extraordinary person it would take to make her get so passionately stirred up over love, losing her temper, or even crying her eyes red. I wonder if I'll ever get the chance in this lifetime to witness such a moment. What are you staring at? Fallen in love with me? Chun Chin caught Xia Linlin's gaze and casually dropped those words. Xia Linlin burst out laughing. Hell no, I wouldn't dare. How could I ever dare to fight over a grand deity like you? I still want to live a few more years. Suddenly spotting two familiar figures up ahead, Chun Chin's gaze instantly shifted. Taking wide strides, she began tailing them, while Xia Linlin instantly wiped the smile off her face and quickly hurried right behind her. A few hours earlier, I clutched the snatchback phone and sprinted a huge distance in one breath, stopping to gasp heavily for air only when my body completely ran out of energy. Once I managed to calm down, I stood up straight, pulled out my phone, and swiped it open. Every single photo that popped up represented my past. Staring at them for a few seconds, I suddenly smiled softly, pressing the delete button without a single second of hesitation. All of this is strictly in the past now. In the future, I will never, ever have to endure those horrors again. I no longer need to spend every single day living in constant terror, walking on eggshells for every little step. I let out a deep, refreshing sigh, feeling both my body and mind lighter and freer than ever before. Just as I was preparing to head back home, a violent, sharp stomach cramp struck me out of nowhere. I clutched my gut and sprinted, like crazy, into a public restroom. After a brutal bout of throwing up and explosive diarrhea, I held the newly prescribed medication I had just picked up from the pharmacy, my face pale as a ghost as I collapsed heavily onto a park bench. Suddenly, I realized the girl was standing right in front of me. Yeah. Hey, Ryan. What are you doing here? She took one look at my deathly pale face. What's wrong with you? You look totally awful. Just an old chronic issue, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Are you seriously okay? I stared at her delicate face and nodded softly. Let me walk you back home then. Annie-chun, I'm going to walk my classmate home first. He's not feeling well at all. You go ahead without me. I'll be right back in a bit. Mrs. Chun cast a cold glance at me, her eyes filled with clear hostility, yet she still gave a subtle nod. Staring at Pei Ruyan's overwhelming warmth, I felt a bit overwhelmed and flustered. Honestly, you really don't have to. I can make it back on my own. Pei Ruyan smiled and said, Come on, it's on the way anyway. Besides, we can chat a bit while we walk. I tilted my head, looking at Pei Ruyan, and a familiar silhouette suddenly flashed across my mind. I hesitated, wanting to speak, yet holding back. If you want to ask something, just ask. I stopped dead in my tracks, finally asking, Are you little Sue? Pei Ruyan stared at me, the rims of her eyes turning slightly red as she gave me a comforting smile. Reaching out to pat my head softly. Yi-chun, you finally recognized me. It really is you. You're genuinely little Sue. We really haven't seen each other in far too long. As I spoke, my voice trembled with a wave of choked emotion, asking with a bitter ache in my chest. Why didn't you recognize me earlier? Aside from my mother and father, Pei Ruyan was my one and only friend throughout my entire childhood. It's just that back then, her name wasn't Pei Ruyan. Her name was Sue Ruyan. While I was being brutally bullied back in the day, it was Sue Ruyan who stepped up to rescue me and even walk me all the way home. From that very moment onward, the two of us became inseparable best friends, walking to and from school together every single day. Seeing this, those bullies turned their sights on us, attempting to target Sue Ruyan as well. Yet despite her skinny, fragile frame, she was an absolute beast at fighting. She beat that gang so hard their faces turned completely pale with terror. From that moment on, nobody ever dared to bully the two of us again. Later on, we made a solemn promise that we would take the entrance exams for the exact same middle school. Yet the moment middle school rolled around, I somehow never managed to see her ever again. I ran around asking everywhere for clues, only managing to piece together a bit of information through rumors told by others. It turned out Sue Ruyan was originally an orphan when she was just 4 years old. After both her parents passed away one after another, she was sent to live in an orphanage. It wasn't until she reached middle school that someone finally adopted her. Because of that, ever since I turned 8 years old, I completely lost all contact and news regarding her. I'm so sorry, Yi-chun. Back then, I really had my own unavoidable struggles. Pei Ruyan's voice drifted over as she lowered her head slightly. It's all right. I completely understand. Pei Ruyan blinked softly, just about to speak, when look at Miss Big Shot Pei out here with nothing better to do than go on dates. Ah, I was wondering who it was. Turns out it's our very own elite Miss Pei. Haha. Having said that, she locked her eyes dead onto me, standing right next to Pei Ruyan. Who is this guy? Is he Miss Pei's newly minted boyfriend? He sure looks like a fresh face. Let's just leave. Pei Ruyan paid them no mind whatsoever, gesturing for me to walk away with her. You two only just met a few days ago, and you're already going on dates, guys? Don't tell me you've already done all the things you shouldn't be doing. Huh. Pei Ruyan, you sure move insanely fast. Chun-Chin, watch your filthy mouth and speak with some decent respect. Not everyone is as disgusting and despicable as you. Oh, really? So you're allowed to do it. But I'm not allowed to talk about it. Hey. Ruyan shot an ice-cold, contemptuous glare at Chun-Chin, relying on pathetic clown antics just to grab people's attention. You truly are a pitiful creature. Having said that, she grabbed my arm, turned around, and walked off. Chun-Chin stared at our disappearing backs, slowly, clenching her hands into tight fists. A dark, menacing aura surging deep within her delicate eyes. Sister Chin, since when did you start giving a damn about that pathetic little brat anyway? Chin froze in her tracks, then snorted as if she had just heard the most absurd joke in the world. Why I despise most are leeching gigolos riding on women's skirts. Just looking at him makes my eyes burn. Vaguely. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't even give a damn about you either. Xia Linlin chimed in. Sister, why lower yourself to his level? Why are you putting yourself down like this? Sister Chin, how could I ever dare to? That night, when Chin returned home, she saw the entire mansion, blazing with bright lights, making her freeze for a split second. Yet as if remembering something, she let out a cold, self-deprecating smirk again. Without even bothering to change her shoes, she walked right inside. Spotting Chun Hui sitting on the sofa, a faint, mocking smile crept onto the corner of her lips. Waiting for me. Get over here. Chin stepped forward, stopping just a single step away from him. What do you want, Chun Hui? What on earth do you want, huh? I picked on him, so what of it? Chun Hui spun around in a fit of pure rage, glaring venomously at his rebellious daughter. Chin, do you even have any idea what you're doing? A brat born from a mother without a father to raise her. What kind of decent person could you possibly turn out to be? Before the words even fully left his mouth, Chun Hui swung his hand and delivered a brutal slap across her face. Chin tilted her head slightly, her delicate face growing even colder under the bright lights. Her lips pressed tightly together into a thin line. Without uttering a single word, she turned on her heel and walked straight upstairs. The hand Chun Hui used to slap her trembled slightly in the air. Chin retreated back into her private bedroom, stepping into the bathroom to stare at her slightly swollen cheek in the mirror, the edges of her eyes flushing deep red. Early the next morning, I scrambled frantically to get to school. Members of the disciplinary squad were stationed at the front gate, diligently taking down names of late arrivals. I covered my face with a sigh, late on the absolute first day of class. This was honestly so humiliating. Resigned to my fate, I took a few steps forward, when a playful, teasing voice suddenly called out from behind. Well, hello, handsome guy. Oh, I glanced over, frowning slightly at the hand casually draped over my shoulder. Shifting to the side to brush it off, she awkwardly pulled her hand back. Ah, my bad. I got a bit too eager. Recognizing her identity, I merely cast an ice cold glance her way. I had never met this girl before. Are you the newly transferred student? In the same class as Sister Chin? Right at that moment, a drowsy, nasal voice boomed from behind. What on earth are you doing? Oh, wait a minute. Sister Chin, you actually brought a backpack to school today? Judging by your current exhausted state, you must have pulled another all-nighter, didn't you? Chin shot her a sharp, piercing glare, then brushed right past her, continuing straight ahead. Xia Linlin hurriedly trotted right behind her. As Chin walked past me, her footsteps slightly faltered for a second before she resumed her completely blank, expressionless face, and kept walking forward. Reaching the school's main gate, members of the disciplinary squad blocked our path. A female, disciplinary student thrust her arm out to stop her, her tone sharp and unyielding. Chin slowly raised her gaze, her pitch-black eyes staring dead into her opponent's. The girl was stared at so intensely that a wave of sheer panic surged in her heart. Another member of the disciplinary squad standing nearby frantically tugged her colleague's sleeve, whispering an urgent warning. Just let her through. Chin is a total walking exception in this school. Top-tier grades and an insanely powerful family background. Even the principal himself has to treat her with utmost respect. Hurry up and let her go. Don't go bringing catastrophe upon yourself. The female student hesitated for a second, but ultimately dropped her arm. Chin retracted her cold gaze, turning her head around to call out to Xia Linlin, only to witness Xia Linlin clinging to me like an over-affectionate puppy, still holding my milk carton in her hands. Just moments ago, while standing to the side, munching on my sandwich, I heard Xia Linlin's stomach growling from hunger. So I handed her my spare warm carton of milk. You want some? Just as she took the milk and was about to insert the straw, the carton was violently snatched right out of her grip. Hey, Qian, haven't you eaten breakfast either? You actually dare drink something handed out by this guy. Aren't you terrified of getting poisoned? Surely it wouldn't come to that, right? Qian smirked mockingly, though her smile failed to reach her cold eyes. Why on earth couldn't it? She turned her head, fixing her piercing gaze straight upon me, and said, Don't you know that the prettier a creature looks, the more deadly its poison is? Having dropped those words, she grabbed the milk carton and strutted arrogantly past the disciplinary team, stepping right into the school courtyard. How come you only arrived just now? Did you get caught being late? Yeah, traffic was a bit jammed up on the road. Have you picked up your school uniform yet? I totally forgot. No worries. I'll take you to pick it up after class. I know where the office is. Thanks a lot. Is there something wrong? Qian, classmate. I'm sitting right here. Why don't you take the seat behind us? The female student let out a sigh of relief, frantically grabbing her books and rushing away. Qian shoved her backpack into her desk drawer, turning her head around only to catch me staring straight at her. Why do you keep staring at me like that? Got a crush on me? I'm advising you to stay as far away from Pei Ruyan as possible. She's definitely not a good person at all. Qian, don't push it too far. Pei Ruyan. What does me talking to him have anything to do with you? Just as Pei Ruyan was about to fire back, the teacher on the podium suddenly shouted out loud at Qian. Don't you students think that just because your grades are good, you can talk whenever you want in my class? Qian flashed a fake smile at the teacher. My bad, sir. Please continue. During the lunch break, Pei Ruyan came looking for me. Let's go. I'll take you to get your uniform. Sure, I replied. Qian, sitting right at her desk, overheard Pei Ruyan calling out to me, her fingers lightly tapping against the tabletop. She stared intently at our retreating figures, her eyes swirling with complex emotions. After picking up my uniform, the two of us headed straight to the cafeteria to eat. Along the way, countless students kept glancing back toward us, their eyes burning with intense curiosity. After all, Pei Ruyan was famous for being an ice-cold academic genius. Always alone. Wolf who walked alone. Now, with a complete stranger. Like me by her side, anyone would naturally steal a few extra glances. Hey, what do you think? The new transfer student walking together with God-tier student Pei. There's definitely something fishy going on. Song Ting cast a sharp glance at us, lowering his head to continue eating. Don't know. And I don't give a damn. Acting all high and mighty for what? Finishing his meal, Song Ting smoothed down his lapels, a perfectly practiced, refined smile gracing his face, as he turned on his heel and strode directly toward Pei Ruyan. Ruyan, this guy here. I haven't seen him around before, have I? Hello there. I'm Yi Chun, the new transfer student. Nice to meet you. I'm Song Ting. Once done eating, the three of us stepped outside together. Along the path, the staring eyes were even more intense than before. Song Ting and Pei Ruyan had continuously dominated the top 5 rankings for the entire grade for years. Standing side by side, they were the absolute epitome of a power couple. Smart and gorgeous, making more than a few onlookers whisper about how perfectly matched they were. Song Ting kept bringing up academic topics with Pei Ruyan, non-stop. Ruyan, for the upcoming freshman welcome gala, the two of us are still hosting as MCs, right? Song Ting clenched his fist tightly before slowly releasing it, forcing a polite smile as he pressed Pei Ruyan for an answer. Hey, are you even listening to what I'm saying? Huh? What did you just say? Just as Song Ting opened his mouth to speak, Song Yu came charging over, screaming right into my face. First thing this morning at the school gate, you were pulling that lingering, messy drama with Qian. Now at noon, you're clinging to Pei Ruyan. What on earth are you playing at? Get the hell away from my brother. Song Yu, watch your tone and speak properly. Don't be so ridiculously rude. If our presence isn't welcome here, then we'll be taking our leave right now. Having said that, Pei Ruyan gave me a subtle signal with her eyes. I immediately followed behind her as she turned around to walk away, striding directly forward without looking back. Ruyan, that's not what I meant. Wait up. Song Yu instantly yanked her brother back. She's already like this, clearly choosing to drag herself down into the gutter by hanging around shady losers like him. Why do you even still care about her? Song Ting stared blankly at Pei Ruyan's retreating silhouette, a surge of bitter jealousy welling up deep in his heart. This was the absolute first time since they met that she had actively stepped up to defend another guy. Could she actually be in love with Yi Chun? Why is it that every single time I move to a new place, I always end up getting set up and framed by others? Turns out I've never actually changed at all. Am I still just a worthless outcast, despised by everyone? What's wrong, Yi Chun? Feeling down? Want to step outside and catch some fresh air with me? I nodded quietly, and the two of us stepped out of the classroom one after another, standing on the open school rooftop. Look, no matter how tough things get, or how utterly frustrating life feels, as long as you stand high enough and gaze out into the distance, everything suddenly turns so insignificantly small. I turn my head to look at her, the gentle breeze lightly blowing through her soft hair. My memories flashed back in an instant to when I was 11 years old, the traumatic past of being relentlessly bullied suddenly flooding my mind. Back then, a brave little girl fearlessly rushed out to shield me. That was the very first time Pei Ruyan and I ever met. From that day on, we became inseparable best friends who shared every single secret without holding back. We lingered up on the rooftop until the bell was about to ring for class before heading back down together. Stepping back into the classroom, Chun-Chin was sitting right in her seat. Seeing the two of us walk in together, a subtle flicker of unease flashed across her face. The moment I sat down, she leaned right into my ear, her voice laced with a sharp touch of jealousy. Back from your romantic date, already? Stay the hell away from me. Oh, why you sound so irritated, huh? Did you get into a little fight with your precious Pei Ruyan? I let out a cold, bitter sneer. What does any of this have to do with you? Chin-Chin's expression instantly turned sour as she slowly sat back up straight. When school ended and class cleaning duty was finished, I was the absolute last person to leave the classroom, having just stepped a short distance away from the school gate. A group of sketchy thugs dressed like total delinquents abruptly blocked my path. My heart thudded wildly in my chest, but I tried my best to act calm, attempting to walk around them, but they were clearly targeting me specifically. They trapped me dead inside a tight, narrow alleyway. Who on earth are you people? What do you want? Us. We're here to teach you a painful lesson. Don't go foolishly daydreaming about women who are way out of your league. A crisp, sharp female voice suddenly boomed from the entrance. Hey, what on earth do you think you're doing? Chin-Chin was slinging her backpack over one shoulder, leaning against the alley mouth. Her black windbreaker zipped all the way up to her neck, her slender chin tucked snugly into her collar. Long time no see, Miss Big Shot Chun. What's up? Nothing major going on here, just playing around with an ignorant, clueless kid, teaching him a little lesson in respect and rules. That's all. I stared at her wearily, muttering to myself. Could this gang actually have been summoned by her, just because I accidentally snapped at her earlier today? Eldest Miss Chun, you're a reasonable and sensible person. As for me, I'm simply getting paid to do a job and clear up trouble for someone else. Just pretend you didn't see anything here. Give me some face, and I'll buy you a drink another day. Rest assured, I have no close ties whatsoever with this guy. No relation, no friendship. Why on earth would I stick my nose into other people's business? Please carry right on. My heart sank instantly into my chest, a surging wave of bitter heartbreak whelming over me. What on earth am I supposed to do now? Looking at the desperate shape you're in, you're seriously going to bite the dust today. Are you really not going to help me? I could save you, of course. However, you must agree to one condition first. In the pitch-black alleyway, the young girl's eyes glittered like brilliant stars. Chin-Chin, I agree to whatever you want. Just as Chun-Chin was about to step out of the alley, her footsteps suddenly halted. The corner of her lips curved into a faint smirk, and with a cold chuckle, she tossed her backpack straight onto the ground, stripped off her jacket, threw it over her bag, and then spun right back around. In less than a few minutes, blood-curdling screams echoed continuously through the dark alley. Battered and bruised, I leaned weakly against the damp wall, watching Chun-Chin's lightning-fast movements, more precise and deadly sharp than anyone I had ever laid eyes on. Suddenly, the blonde guy pulled out a sharp pocket knife and lunged directly at Chin-Chin in the middle of the chaotic brawl. Acting on pure instinct, I grabbed my backpack and smashed it directly into the guy. Luckily, his trajectory shifted, only tearing through the hem of Chun Chin's shirt. Is this bastard out of his mind? Try to get locked up in prison? She turned back to look at me, her piercing gaze freezing me right in my tracks, and making my entire body tense up instinctively. Chun Chin walked right up to me, her tone laced with a gentle trace of heartache. Are you hurt anywhere? I carefully lifted her arm, staring at her shredded school uniform, her face slightly flushed from the fierce brawl earlier, glistening with a thin sheen of sweat, her cheeks flushed bright pink. I'm totally fine, look. I'm completely unscathed here. I picked up both of her backpacks off the dirty ground, yanking her hand to sprint away from that chaotic, messy alleyway. Out on the main street, Chun Chin and I walked side by side. Hey, don't you dare forget what you promised me during that fight earlier. I took a deep breath and asked, spill it. What on earth do you want me to do? I haven't figured it out yet. I'll let you know whenever I think of something. Either way, you officially owe me a huge favor now. Right at that moment, Chun Chin's stomach suddenly growled insanely loud. Her entire face instantly flushed beet red, turning her embarrassment into fiery anger as she glared at me. What are you staring at? Have you never heard a hungry stomach growl before? Man is made of iron. Food is the fuel. Does brawling not burn through energy? Why aren't you hurrying up to take me out for food? Yet after checking out several restaurants in a row, Chun Chin wasn't satisfied with a single one. She abruptly asked me, where are you originally from? I'm from Sunan. Sunan, huh? Then cook me some authentic Jiangnam dishes. I've never tasted real, legitimate local cuisine before. I thought it over for a second and nodded. We hit the supermarket to grab groceries. The sheer amount of food Chun Chin wanted to eat was truly insane. This fish right here looks pretty fresh. Grab some of these shrimp too, and we definitely need fresh greens. Let's take a little bit of everything. When we walked back out, I was lugging several massive grocery bags. The two of us headed back to my apartment together. I slipped into the kitchen and worked up a sweat cooking away, while Chun Chin made herself right at home, sprawling lazily on the couch watching TV. Dinner's ready, I called out toward the living room. Chun Chin sat right up from the couch, striding over to the dining table. I casually asked, want anything to drink? There's fruit juice. Got any beer? Absolutely not. Chun Chin pouted her lips in annoyance. She picked up a piece of chicken wing with her chopsticks and popped it in her mouth. Why on earth is this so sweet? Aren't cola chicken wings supposed to taste sweet? People from Sunan naturally lean towards sweeter flavors. And why are these green vegetables so utterly bland? There's literally zero flavor in this. I want something spicy. Then try this dish instead. It's packed with rich flavor, savory and fragrant. All right, fine. I guess I'll grudgingly eat it. It's just mediocre anyway. Half an hour later, I stared dumbfounded at the completely empty plates left on the table, my lips twitching wildly, and she had the nerve to call that grudgingly eating. After I finished clearing away the dishes, I suddenly noticed Chun Chin had curled up and fallen fast asleep on the sofa. She was sleeping in a half-reclined position, her body curled inward like a vulnerable little kitten, tucked deep into the armchair. I suddenly recalled how she fearlessly fought off those thugs today just to save me, and a warm ripple stirred deep in my heart. Turns out, Chun Chin really is a good person deep down. What are you staring at me so intently for? Chun Chin abruptly opened her eyes, making me jump in sheer surprise. She sat right up. Stop staring at me. I know I'm gorgeous, but isn't that look in your eyes a bit too blatantly obvious? I rolled my eyes dramatically, dropping down onto the chair right next to her. Now that you're awake, hurry up and go home. It's getting super late. You really are. The ringing of her phone suddenly cut her sentence short. She answered the call and switched it straight to speakerphone. Sister Chin, where are you? Hurry over to our usual spot. That brat from the Su family is recklessly seeking death again, openly provoking you. He claims that last time you humiliated him like a stray dog thrown in a gutter. So this time he brought heavy backup to avenge his disgrace. Are you coming or not? Chun Chin originally intended to turn it down, but as her gaze brushed over me, her mind instantly changed. Fine, tell him to wait right there. I'll be there in a flash. She hung up the phone, stood right up, and threw on her jacket, ready to leave. Let's go. I'll take you somewhere. No way, I'm not going. Oh, come on. out of respect for my righteous heroics today, helping you beat up those nasty bad guys. Just come along with me for a ride, please. Let's go, let's go. I seriously owe you one. The taxi drove a ridiculously long distance, finally pulling over at a massive empty lot. Sister Chin, Xiaolinlin ran over, her eyes lighting up brilliantly the second she spotted me. Joe, our handsome little prince came along too. TSK, TSK, look at you, even bringing him along like this. And yet you still stubbornly insist you don't like him. Oh, we've got an epic battleground drama to watch tonight. Oh, right, Sister Chin. That brat Su Xing has already arrived, and he brought along a massive entourage, all waiting right outside near the entrance over there. Chun Chin, I thought you were too much of a coward to even show your ugly face. What? Sitting in a police station cell wasn't enough for you. Looks like the food in there was pretty tasty, seeing as it got you back out here so quickly, prancing around like a total clown. If you hadn't played dirty tricks on me last time, like how I'm gonna get locked up, if I actually intended to play dirty with you, do you really think you'd be walking out in one piece? A brain is a wonderful thing to have. Too bad you don't possess one. Su Ying's face turned pale with rage, his tone growing dangerously hostile. Chun Chin, it's been a month. Do you have the guts to 1v1 me? In a race? Chun Chin acted as if she had just heard the most ridiculous joke on the face of the earth, bursting into a hysterical laugh. Su Xing, sitting in a cell wasn't enough? This time you want a one-way ticket straight to the hospital. Want me to pre-book a VIP bed in the orthopedic ward for you? Fine by me. I'll gladly fulfill your death wish. Chun Chin, don't you dare get arrogant. Who wins and who loses is far from settled. Tonight, I'm going to show you who the real king around here actually is. Only now did Su Xing notice me standing right beside Chun Chin, his gaze locking tightly onto my body as his Adam's apple unconsciously bobbed up and down. Chun Chin caught his sleazy glance, her brows furrowing in utter disgust, as she stepped forward to shield me from his view. What the hell are you looking at? Control those dog eyes of yours. Su Xing reluctantly pulled back his gaze. Chun Chin, do you dare to make a wager? We race, and if you lose, you hand over that little pretty boy behind you to me. And if I lose, I'll give you my brand new Pagani. How about that? You're definitely not losing out here. Deal. But I want to add one more condition. If you lose, take that pile of scrap metal of yours and get the hell out of the racing scene. Never show your face in my line of sight ever again. Just looking at you pisses me off. I agree. When the time comes, don't you dare regret it. Chun Chin, what is the meaning of this? On what grounds do you get to make decisions on my behalf? How could you use me as a gambling chip? What if you lose the race? What then? Are you seriously going to let me go with that pervert? Relax. The two of us are guaranteed to crush him. What do you mean the two of us? I don't even know how to drive. Chun Chin. She simply turned around, waving her hand dismissively at me before stepping into the dressing room. I'm not doing this. Don't go. In the entire college racing scene, I'm the undisputed peak, okay? Just trust me. I turned my head to look through the visor of the helmet and locked eyes with her. I saw Chun Chin's big, rounded, doe-like eyes, brimming with desperate pleading. My heart melted in an instant as I slowly fastened my seatbelt tight. I knew Yi Chun was the absolute best. The sports car gradually roared to life, hearing the deafening engine revs echoing violently. I gripped the side of the seat for dear life. Yi Chun, do you know why back in college I chose to get into street racing? This thrilling sensation of speeding wildly down the track. It allows you to leave absolutely everything behind in the dust, forcing you to forget every single painful memory. The wind will blow away all your worries and sorrow. I really hope you can experience that too. The car shot forward like a lethal arrow unleashed. The intense G-force slammed me hard back into the seat cushion, the scenery on both sides blurring away at a crazy, dizzying speed. All the vicious insults and the relentless bullying that once trapped me seemed to completely vanish into thin air. I felt as though the entire world had shrunk down until there was only me and the rushing wind. On the track, the two supercars engaged in a fierce, neck-and-neck duel. I turned my head to stare at Chun Chin's laser-focused profile, my heart pounding wildly against my chest. With only half a lap remaining on the circuit, Su Xing's car remained stubbornly tailing our rear bumper, clinging to us like a relentless shadow. Suddenly, a deafening engine roar screamed as she accelerated. Chun-Xin slammed the gas pedal all the way down to the floor, crossing the finish line in first place. Chun-Xin and I removed our helmets and stepped out of the vehicle. Su-Xing leaped out of his car, furious and utterly humiliated. I don't need that car of yours. Its performance is garbage, completely unworthy of me. Just remember the promise you made. Take your pile of junk and get the hell out of the racing scene. Never show your face in my line of sight ever again. Fine. Chun-Xin, you're real tough, aren't you? You better pray to God that you can stay this arrogant forever. Just wait until the day you finally crash and burn. Ha ha ha. Let me out. The vibe around here is completely toxic. I followed close behind Chun-Xin as we exited the racetrack. So, how did that whole high-speed thrill feel back there? You weren't terrified to the point of puking your guts out, were you? It was actually decent. That exhilarating feeling of tearing down the track. It really can make a person forget all their deepest hurts and sorrows. So, Chun-Xin, what on earth is making you so upset? What kind of pain requires you to vent through such insane, death-defying speeds just to escape it? What are you staring at? It's getting super late. I'll show some mercy and drop you back home. All right? Chun-Xin, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you for stepping up to help me out today. Oh, come on, it's no big deal. Why are you suddenly getting all overly dramatic and serious on me? Besides, didn't you help me crush Su-Xing back there too? We scored this victory together, ha. But I was literally just sitting in the passenger seat. Aside from holding onto my seatbelt for dear life, I didn't actually contribute anything at all. Because simply having you sitting right by my side, it gave me total peace of mind. Is that so? Well, in that case, you better express your gratitude properly. Got it. I definitely won't shortchange you on your reward. The car pulled up smoothly right outside my apartment building. Yi-chun, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Chun-Xin. Chun-Xin stepped out of the vehicle, her eyes brimming with anticipation as she saw me off. I waved goodbye to her before turning on my heel to head upstairs. The very next morning at school, Chun-Xin slammed a warm breakfast right onto my desk. Good morning, Yi-chun. I brought this delicious breakfast specifically for you. Looking at her intense enthusiasm, I felt a little flustered and caught off guard. I've already eaten. You go ahead and eat it yourself. I bought this specifically for you. Look how skinny you are. Morning classes drag on forever, so eat it when you get hungry later. No wasting food allowed. The morning bell rang, signaling the start of class. The first period was physics. Our physics teacher was a top-tier graduate from a prestigious university, and his lecture logic was insanely rigorous and tight. While listening to the lesson, if you space out for even a single second, you'll completely lose track of his logic. By the time the class finally ended, I suddenly noticed that Pei Ruyan hadn't shown up to school today. I pulled out my phone and quickly sent her a text message. Must be some kind of urgent emergency. But Pei Ruyan still hasn't sent any response. For the entire morning, Chun-Xin slumped over her desk fast asleep. At noon, the bell signaling. The end of morning classes echoed. Hey, right outside the school gates. A brand new hot pot spot just opened up. The reviews are amazing. Let's go grab a bite together. Sister Chin, let's go. Chun-Xin raised her head from her desk, glance shooting a deeply bitter, sour look towards Xie Linlin, before abruptly standing up and pulling me along. Let's go, I'm starving. We're all eating together. Chun-Xin was already a high-profile figure at school, and paired with my extraordinarily handsome face, the three of us walking side by side instantly turned us into a striking sight on campus. Right at that moment, I spotted a familiar, striking figure approaching from the distance. It was Pei Ruyan. Pei Ruyan's silky long hair fell softly over her shoulders, the rims of her eyes slightly red and puffy. She spotted me alongside Chun-Xin, standing right next to me, her eyes instantly darting away in avoidance. As she brushed right past us, my gut instinct warned me. Pei Ruyan had definitely run into serious trouble. You guys go ahead and eat without me. I'm backing out. The moment I finished speaking to Chun-Xin's group, I turned around, ready to dash off. Hold it right there. Are you seriously going after Pei Ruyan? You two go ahead and eat. Don't worry about me. I'm going to check on her and see what's wrong. If you go after her right now, don't you ever come back to see me again. The rims of her eyes turned blood red, her intense gaze locking onto me, trying to threaten me. Yet again, memories flooded back into my mind. Of Chun-Chin's stubborn, self-centered past behavior. We'll talk about this later. I completely ignored her desperate threat, turning on my heel to sprint right after Pei Ruyan. Sister Chin, it's okay. Just the two of us will go. Without that brainless blockhead around, it's actually way more comfortable. Say whatever the hell you want. Pei Ruyan, are you okay? Did something terrible happen? Pei Ruyan. Hey, Pei Ruyan. What happened to your face? No, it's nothing, really. I'm just feeling a little under the weather. Just a mild fever, so I took leave to pick up some medicine. I saw the message you sent me. Thank you so much. Yi Chen. I stared at the right side of her face, swollen and bright red, with the distinct, faint print of 5 fingers clearly visible on her cheek. It's a relief to know you're all right. Come on, it's almost lunchtime. Let me take you to get something to eat. What do you feel like having? Sure. I placed the food tray down right in front of Pei Ruyan. Pei Ruyan lowered her head slightly, picking up her chopsticks to eat in silence. Ruyan, regarding my father's proposal, have you thought it over yet? Pei Ruyan didn't even raise her head upon hearing his arrogant voice. But I noticed her knuckles turn white as she tightly gripped her chopsticks. You little brat, did you not learn your lesson? Last time. Is it Song Ting? What the hell did you do to Yi Chun? Oh, nothing much. Just helped him face harsh reality, so he learns to know his proper place. My family is hosting a charity gala this weekend, and I want you to be my most stunning dance partner. As for this pathetic country bumpkin, you can tag along too if you want. After all, only after crawling through the mud can one realize how high the clouds really reach. Come and witness what true, noble elegance actually looks like. A world utterly beyond a lowlife like you. Yi Chen, don't listen to a single word he says. He's always spouting nonsense like this. He's lying to you, right? It's not like that at all. I'm going, Ruyan. This weekend. I'll attend the gala right alongside you. Yi Chen, I don't want to drag you into my chaotic mess. You'll only end up getting humiliated. Don't worry, it'll be fine. There's no way I'm leaving you all by yourself to face that pack of bloodthirsty wolves and tigers. She slowly raised her head to look at me, and a faint, comforting smile broke across her gloomy, tear-stained face. After the lunch break, Chin's seat remained completely empty. I tried calling her phone over and over again, but every single call failed to get through. In the end, I decided to stop worrying about her because I knew there was something far more important demanding my attention. On Saturday night, I arrived right on time at the private club featuring an outdoor ballroom. The charity gala Song Ting mentioned was actually an elite tech investment summit, organized by the prominent Chun family of Yi City. Standing at the center of the ballroom were Mr. and Mrs. Chun, exuding an air of organizing this event. Right in the middle of the grand gala stood the Pei couple, exuding an air of effortless nobility and undeniable prestige. For over a decade, they had been deeply dedicated to philanthropic causes. Song Ting and Song Nuo had also made their appearance. Dressed to the nines, both of them oozed spoiled rich kid arrogance, schmoozing around with wine glasses in hand. As I casually scanned the bustling venue, my eyes suddenly caught sight of an all-too-familiar figure. Chin, dressed in surprisingly casual clothes, lounging lazily on a plush couch, nonchalantly popping grapes in her mouth one by one. Chin, Yi Chen, what on earth are you doing here? She shot a disdainful glance toward Pei Ruyan on the dance floor, sneering. Don't tell me. You sneaked in here just for Pei Ruyan, didn't you? You really are hopelessly obsessed. Yi Chun, stalking her all the way to a high-end place like this? Can't bear to be away from her for even a second. Huh? Totally infatuated. I completely brushed off the mockery on her face, demanding in return the text messages I sent you. Why didn't you reply to a single one? I was worried sick about you. And why on earth do I owe you a reply? I reply when I feel like it, and I ignore you when I don't. Aren't we supposed to be friends? Oh, friends? Pray tell, what kind of friends are we exactly? Are we just casual acquaintances, or are we boyfriend and girlfriend? Just as I was about to answer, Pei Ruyan walked over. Yi Chen, you actually made it. I've been looking all over for you. Oh wow. Miss Pei. What, shopping for a brand new Target this time? Are you here to suck up to the Song family? Or is it the Zhao family? Or the Wang family this time? With so many options to hit on, can your eyes even keep up? Be careful not to get overwhelmed, okay? Chun-Chin, can't you speak to people respectfully for once? Why you always have to act like this? At that moment, the Song brothers strolled right over. Song Nuo smirked at me, taunting mockingly. Bro, this loser actually had the nerve to show up. Back at university, even being allowed to set eyes on us was already the ultimate privilege of your pathetic life. We belong to a tier you could never hope to climb up to. Just look at your miserable status. You're nothing but a worthless errand boy working for a delivery company. Where on earth did you buy this cheap suit? At some roadside fake brand stall. Do you even know which ultra-luxury brand? It's ripping off before putting it on. Song Ting, don't you dare go too far. Ruyan, why are you shielding this loser too? I'm just helping him face harsh reality. Ruyan, why are even you taking his side and defending him? I was just forcing him to wake up and face reality, so he understands who he actually is. Stop daydreaming in broad daylight. As for who I am, my true identity isn't for scum like you to judge. At the very least, I don't need to step on others, nor do I need to rely on someone else's approval, just to prove my worth. Look over there. That's the CEO of the incorporation. Oh my God, so the rumors were actually true. She really is a high-powered woman. Why on earth did she suddenly make an appearance here? The two Song brothers widened their eyes in absolute shock, frenetically shoving their way into the crowd. Meanwhile, Pei Rian stared at me with a face full of confusion and doubt. The buzzing crowd slowly converged toward the three of us. At that moment, a regal middle-aged woman emerged from the heart of the crowd. She stepped gracefully toward me, stopping right in front of my face. Are these the friends you made at your new school? Looks like your life at this new academy has been quite event-filled and colorful. With those final words, she turned around and walked away, leaving behind Chun-Chin, Pei Ruyan, Song Ting Song, Nuo, and the entire high society crowd utterly frozen, each harboring their own shocked inner thoughts. I watched her retreat, unable to stop myself from thinking about how Song Ting didn't even bother to use his brain. If I truly had no elite background whatsoever, how could I have possibly transferred into a fiercely competitive, prestigious school like Shangzhou High School? In truth, my parents were renowned legends and the absolute pride of the business world. The first 4 years of my life were spent wrapped in pure pampering and carefree luxury. However, a tragic car accident brutally stole my father's life away. From that point on, my mother became an icy, lonely workaholic, pouring every ounce of her soul into preserving my late father's legacy. Once I grew old enough to understand, I voluntarily moved out of our lavish mansion to live independently all on my own. After all, to my mother, my presence was nothing more than an unnecessary distraction. The moment my mother departed, the heads of the Chun family enthusiastically swarmed around me like flies. They eagerly pushed Pei Ruyan toward my side. Young Master Jiang, you and our Ruyan are the closest of friends at school. Whenever you have some spare time, please drop by our estate to hang out. The high-stakes business world, always so shamelessly fake. They flip-flop even faster than turning the page of a book. Just a moment ago, they were turning a blind eye to Song Ting's ruthless mockery, directed straight at me. Seeing the crowd of bootlickers surrounding me growing bigger by the second, I seized the chance to slip away onto the balcony for a quiet moment of peace. Why did you run out here, young Master Jiang? Don't you enjoy the feeling of being worshipped like a superstar, pampered and placed on a pedestal by everyone? I genuinely despise it, to be honest. What about you? Why did you run out here too? The hypocrites inside are the absolute worst. All they know is stomping on the weak and sucking up to the powerful. Birds of a feather. Just looking at them makes me want to puke. I am Soda Chen-Chun. I shouldn't have abandoned you like that the other day. The truth is, Pei Rian and I have known each other since childhood. To me, she's a deeply cherished friend. Seeing her in such a miserable state that day, I simply couldn't turn my back on her. The Anjiang group and the Pei family. Turns out you guys were linked together from the very beginning. A perfect match of equal status, a powerhouse alliance indeed. Why can't you just talk to me normally for once? Why must every word be so sharp and venomous? Besides, when I first met Ruyan, she didn't even carry the Pei surname. It was only when she grew older that the Pei family officially adopted her. Chun-Chin listened to my explanation, her eyes dazed in disbelief. Pei Ruyan is an adopted daughter. Last time, you stood me up out of nowhere, leaving me to eat hot pot all by my pathetic self. Spill it. How do you plan to compensate me this time? Meeting her piercing, direct gaze. My face flushed slightly warm. What do you want? The food at this pretentious gala tastes like complete garbage. It's all just flashy, over-the-top nonsense. Let's go, young Master Jiang. I'll take you to get something that's actually delicious. Hey, wait a second. Pei Ruyan is still inside. Are we really just going to ditch her and leave like this? Relax. Now the entire world knows that Pei Ruyan is backed by the great young Master Jiang. Those two-faced opportunists will be way too busy kissing up to her now. Who would dare to mess with her at a time like this? Let's go. Late at night, at a street barbecue joint, Chin and I sat in a cozy corner of a shop. Since you're the sole heir to the almighty Anjiang group, and the biological son of that legendary woman, why on earth are you living all by yourself, in such a rundown, decaying old apartment complex? Why are you so dead sure that I'm the heir to the Anjiang group, anyway? Besides, who on earth decreed that having money means you must live in a giant mansion, drive a super luxury sports car, and spend every single day swarmed by flashing paparazzi cameras? Stop trying to dodge the question. So what exactly is your relationship with that CEO, and are you mother and son, relatives, or she? She really is my biological mother. However, ever since my father passed away, she changed completely. She sacrificed absolutely everything, including her own soul and well-being, and dedicated it entirely to that so-called business legacy of hers. As for me, as I said this, I felt a heavy surge of sorrow and slowly lower my head. Chin seemed to deeply resonate with the pain of my past experience. Her eyes turned rimmed with red as she stared at me, hesitating to speak. Do you still remember the very first time we ever met? The first time we met? Wasn't that back at the university campus? 1424, the very first time you ever laid eyes on me. The very first time you laid eyes on me was when I was eating street barbecue at the food street near the college campus. Right after that, you rushed straight over and forcefully kissed me. I stared back at her, my ears turning bright red from extreme embarrassment. As I fidgeted awkwardly, she looked at me with a mischievous yet mesmerizing, enchanting smile. Let's start dating. I was left utterly speechless, completely at a loss for words. Our pleasant meal came to an awkward, abrupt end just like that. On Monday morning, I arrived at the classroom extremely early. The moment I stepped through the front door, I spotted an exquisitely wrapped sandwich resting neatly right on my desk, along with a bottle of fresh milk and a fried egg cooked into a flawlessly perfect shape. I stared at the breakfast spread covering my entire desk while my classmates all stared at me with intense envy and awe. Yi-Chen, you're finally here. I was worried you didn't have breakfast yet, so I picked up a few things for you on my way over. See if there's anything here you'd like to eat. Mid-sentence, Chun suddenly walked in through the doorway. Yi-Chen, I brought breakfast for you too. These are all freshly made straight out of the oven. Make sure to eat them while they're still hot. Okay. The moment the words left her mouth, her eyes caught sight of the breakfast spread on my desk, and a high-end Pei family logo stamped clearly on the packaging. A sudden flash of pure rage flickered across her eyes. A sharp flash of raw fury flickered across your eyes. Pei Ruyan, why isn't your breakfast on your own desk? What on earth is it doing over here on Yi-Chen's? Are you flexing that your family's loaded? I bought this for Yi-Chen. Whether he eats it or not is entirely his choice. What does it have to do with you? Take all that junk you brought right back and eat it yourself. Yi-Chen doesn't want to touch a single bite of your food. He'd much rather eat mine. Is that true, Yi-Chen? Do you really not want to eat the food I prepare for you? Oh well, about that. Honestly, I've already had breakfast. I'm completely stuffed right now. You two can split all this food, okay? Don't let it go to waste. Thank goodness the class bell clanged right on time, saving me from an utter nightmare situation. However, escaping for a brief moment doesn't mean I can hide forever. Yi-Chen missing out on hot pot last time made me super pissed. Let's go. We are absolutely making up for it this afternoon. Pei Ruyan instantly whirled around, glaring directly at Chin as she argued back. Yi-Chen already promised that he's going to have lunch with me. Go eat your hot pot all by yourself. I stared at the two of them, neither willing to yield a single inch, and could only stand beside them letting out an awkward chuckle. In the end, the three of us ended up walking side by side across the campus. Courtyard, Chun-Chin walking on my left, and Pei-Rian right by my right. Holy crap, what kind of legendary background does that guy have? How does he have two top-tier, god-level beauties walking right beside him? Are you blind or what? Just look at how insanely handsome he is. His aura is completely next level. Haven't you heard the gossip? I heard rumors that he's close personal friends with the CEO of the almighty Anjiang Corporation. Wait, seriously? No wonder. Just look at him. He doesn't look like an ordinary person at all. That regal, noble vibe is purely born with him. All along the way. Through campus, whispers and hushed chatter about me echoed everywhere. Ever since my true status was revealed at the gala, the mocking, condescending voices at school had drastically dropped, replaced instead by intense curiosity and endless kiss-ass attempts. Chun-Chin shot a sharp glare toward Pei-Rian on my other side. Hey, a certain third wheel here, glowing brighter than the sun in broad daylight. Have you no social awareness whatsoever? Pei-Rian glared right back at Chun-Chin, her eyes flashing with fierce, unyielding defiance. Who's the third wheel here remains to be seen. Right up until we stepped into. Who's actually acting as the third wheel here remains to be seen. Right up until we stepped inside the hot pot restaurant. Neither of them was willing to back down an inch. Inside the hot pot restaurant, the three of us sat around the steaming hot pot table, each occupying our own corner. Pei-Rian carefully dipped a slice of mutton into the broth before placing it straight into my bowl. Yi-chun, make sure to eat plenty of meat. You're way too skinny. Thanks. What, does he not have hands, or is he paralyzed? Why on earth do you need to feed him like a baby? Pei-Rian completely ignored Chun-Chin's bitter outburst, attentively continuing to scoop food right into my bowl. Chun-Chin let out a sharp TSK, then reached out with her chopsticks and snatched the piece of food Pei-Rian had just served me, planking it directly into her own bowl. After pulling it off, she shot a provocative, smirking glance right at Pei-Rian. Oh, thank a bunch. Appreciate it. I just wanted to test if this meat was overcooked anyway. At that exact moment, the entrance bell jingled as Song Ting and Song Nua strolled right in the hot pot restaurant. Bro, look, Sister Rian is over here too. The three of us turned our heads, making direct eye contact with the two of them. Song Ting put on a fake smile as he walked over, greeting us. Vin, what a crazy coincidence. Are you here for hot pot too? Jiang Chun, didn't expect to see you here as well. Send my warm regards to CEO, and will you? Chun-Chin glared at him with a cold, sarcastic smirk. Hiring goons to beat him to a pulp would sound a whole lot more sincere than your fake greetings. What's wrong, young Master Song? Care to experience a beating yourself? Seeing that nobody was giving him an ounce of respect, Song Ting forced a strained chuckle, saying, huh? Miss Chun sure loves to joke around. Well then, enjoy your meal, everyone. I won't interrupt you any longer. As soon as he finished speaking, he yanked Song Nua away. Outside the entrance, Song Nua whined in frustration. Bro, why the heck are we walking away? I've been dying to eat at this place for ages. We finally waited through the crazy line for our turn. What are you afraid of them for? Eat. All you ever think about is eating. Can't you see they don't give a damn about us at all? Jiang Chun. Chun-Chin, and that damn Pei-Rian too. Every single one of you better just wait. The day will come when I force all of you to pay the ultimate price for your unbearable arrogant pride today. Back inside the hot pot restaurant, Pei-Rian said with deep concern, Yi-chun, Song Ting is an insanely petty, grudge-holding psychopath. On top of that, he's totally unpredictable and relentlessly vengeful. Last time at the gala, you humiliated him so publicly. He will definitely never let this slide. I'm terrified that he's going to seek revenge on you. Chun-Chin, however, shrugged it off nonchalantly, glaring back at her. Let him come. I'd love to see what kind of pathetic waves a tiny family like the Songs thinks they can make. At the end of the day, they're just stray dogs begging for scraps at the Chun family's table. What can a desperate dog backed into a corner even pull off? Pei-Rian shot Chun-Chin a sharp look before turning back to me. Besides, your life is already surrounded by a mountain of chaotic mess. If he wants to take a shot at you, he might even have to line up and wait his damn turn. Yi-Chen, listen to me. It's best if you move back in with Anian for a while, or just move right back into the family mansion. After all, having bodyguards and servants taking care of you there is a million times safer. If you end up running into another ambush like that dark alley incident, what are you going to do? Chen Qin interjected with annoyance. Why on earth would he return to that cold, lifeless mansion just to swallow his pride and walk on eggshells around others? If that's the case, he could just come live with me. My place is ridiculously huge, and the security is top-notch. As for Song Ting and that whole useless crew of losers, even if 10 more of them showed up, I'd still beat every single one into the dirt. Absolute no one will ever dare to lay a single finger on a hair of your head. I lower my head in deep thought. I knew that Chen Qin's warning wasn't entirely baseless. Since Song Ting targeted me once, he wouldn't hesitate to do it a second or third time. I couldn't possibly rely on sticking by Chen Qin's side 24/7 either. The walk back became heavy and tense because of Song Ting's unexpected reappearance. Chen Qin and Pei Ruyan also stopped their usual bickering. Late into the night, I sat quietly on the couch lost in thought, before finally dialing a familiar number on my phone. After a long, agonizing ring, a mature woman's voice resonated from the receiver. Hello? Mom, it's me, Yi-Chen. Oh, why are you calling me? I'm extremely busy right now. I was thinking of moving back to our old house for a few days. Would that be okay? I'm currently away on a business trip in another city, and your uncle Jiang also has urgent personal matters to attend to, so no one is staying at the old house lately. There's literally no one there right now. If it's nothing important, don't go back and bring unnecessary trouble upon yourself. 1600 listening to the icy cold tone, I overheard her voice, of the woman on the other end of the line. A bitter surge of heartache washed over me as I hung up. I stared at the family portrait, resting in the picture frame right beside me, letting out a heavy, solemn sigh. At that moment, a new text message popped up on my phone screen. It was from Chen Qin. Xia Linlin has a racing match tomorrow afternoon. Yi-Chen, will you come watch it with me? Looking at the chat on my phone, a soft, fond smile spread across my face. Chen Qin's demand was as bold and direct as ever. I typed back, sure. At the racetrack, Xia Linlin looked effortlessly cool in her sleek racing jumpsuit. She vigorously waved her hand at me and Pei Ruyan from afar. You guys finally made it. Hurry up. I'll take you over to meet my sweet ride, Little Black. You're here. Boss Qin, over here. Joe, little handsome guy, came all the way to support me too. Boss Qin, just sit back and watch me put on an absolute show. Today, my car and I are completely fused as one. I guarantee Little Black and I will blow everyone's minds and take home the crown. As she spoke, she gently stroked the glossy, pitch-black surface of a ridiculously cool race car. Following her passionate gaze, I immediately realized that Little Black was one of the absolute most precious race cars in Chen Qin's personal collection. No wonder she insisted on dragging me here to watch this race. She clearly cared deeply about this event. This match was meant to prove Xia Linlin's true prowess within the racing scene. And it was also the grand comeback match for Little Black. I don't ask for much. I just hope she can finish the race safe and sound. Though if she manages to blow everyone away, that'd be even better. It will definitely happen. Little Black and Linlin won't let you down. Yeah, the grand racing event was hosted by University D, featuring student racers, and it kicked off in no time. Driven expertly by Xia Linlin, Little Black surged forward like a lightning bolt through the first half of the race. Xia Linlin steadily held on to third place. As they rapidly entered the final lap, Xia Linlin slammed down hard on the accelerator instantly, surpassing the second-place racer. Chen Qin and I screamed in pure excitement. Awesome job. She overtook him. She passed him. Almost. Awesome job. She overtook them. She passed them. She's almost there. She's about to take first place. Just a little bit more. She's right on the verge of taking the crown. As Little Black drifted past the sharp curve, she was a split second away from snatching first place. At that exact moment, the race car lost total control and veered violently off the track. With a deafening crash, The right side of Little Black slammed violently into the track barrier. Thick black smoke billowed furiously out of the car. Fierce red flames engulfed half of the vehicle's body. In the blink of an eye, Xia Linlin. We bolted like lightning toward the wreck where Xia Linlin's life currently hung in the balance. Outside the hospital room, Chun Xin and I waited anxiously outside the emergency room. Right after the accident occurred, Mr. Li, the racetrack manager, whispered, "Miss Chun, Mr. Jiang." 2 days before this incident happened, young master Su Xing of the Su family visited the track, claiming he was here to pick up a forgotten item. However, he lingered around Little Black's maintenance garage for over an hour before finally leaving. It was in the camera's blind spot, so we couldn't tell what he actually did. Hearing Mr. Li's report, Chun Xin's eyes turned blood red with rage. "Good. Very good. Su Xin. You just wait, you bastard. This is far from over." Once the surgery finally concluded, Xia Linlin was wheeled out of the operating room, her right leg and right arm wrapped tightly in temporary splints. Although the car crash didn't result in fatal, life-threatening injuries, her arms and thighs suffered severe, nasty abrasions. She clearly needed extensive rest to recover. Chun Xin and I gazed at Xia Linlin, who remained unconscious post-surgery, as she choked out softly. Honestly, the person Su Xing wanted to destroy was me. I wrapped my arm gently around her shoulders to comfort her. That bastard will pay the ultimate price. The municipal financial and economic news channel had always been the most vital news outlet, closely watched by business leaders across the city, regularly broadcasting the latest, most crucial financial reports in the region. On this very day, Boss Chin, don't be so tense. Look, I'm still alive and kicking, aren't I? Honestly, Boss Chin, you really don't need to exhaust yourself taking care of me like this. Chun Xin rolled her eyes dramatically and shoved a sweet grape straight into her mouth. Even eating can't shut that big mouth of yours. The two of us spontaneously turned our eyes toward the news report, playing on the TV screen, exchanging a knowing, subtle smile as the news broadcast punctually began to chime. Breaking news on City D's financial front today. The sole heir of the Su Corporation, Su Xing, was ambushed and surrounded by law enforcement late last night inside a presidential suite at a luxury 5-star hotel. The news camera abruptly cut to Su Xing, who was desperately ducking and dodging the flashing camera lenses in complete panic. According to deep, ongoing investigations by authorities, the Su Family Corporation has been tied to numerous severe, illegal criminal operations. Over the past few years, the total market capitalization of the Su Corporation evaporated overnight, leaving enraged shareholders swarming the Su Enterprise building to demand justice. Xia Linlin's eyes went wide with total shock as she stared at the news, completely forgetting to chew the grape resting in her mouth. Holy crap, Boss Chin, you are an absolute savage. This was insanely fast and utterly ruthless. Su Xing, that scumbag, got exactly what he deserved. Ha! That's what you get for scheming against good people. Chun Xin raised her chin with a proud, arrogant smirk. Who do you think your Boss Chin is? Anyone who dares to lay a finger on my crew. This is their inevitable doom. Su Xing pulled so many filthy, corrupt tricks behind the scenes. You should have been wiped out a long time ago. But still, the fact that this got settled so lightning fast is all thanks to the Anjiang Group, providing that crucial, ironclad evidence, paired with their thunderous, ruthless execution. Thank you so much, Yi Chun. Don't mention it. The Su Corporation has always played dirty in business, burning every bridge without leaving a single route. For survival, they're simply reaping the rotten seeds they sowed. I suddenly recalled the moment in the car when I handed over the evidence of the Su family's crimes I had painstakingly gathered to my mother. She gazed at me with a deep, profound look, her eyes carrying a trace of quiet, silent admiration, before letting out a cold, nonchalant nod, and immediately signed her name on the official document. Xia Linlin stared at the two of us with pure curiosity. Hey. The vibe between you two is definitely looking a bit suspicious. How far have you guys actually progressed? Just shut up and eat your grapes. At that moment, my phone buzzed with an incoming call from Peru. While Xia Linlin's playful whines echoed behind me. Boss Chin, I'm literally an injured patient, and you're still slapping me? I stepped outside the hospital room. Hello, Rian? Through the phone line. Pei Rian's gentle, elegant voice resonated softly. Yi-chun, when are you coming back? I'll be back tomorrow. What's wrong? I have something I really need to talk to you about face to face. I'll wait for you to get back tomorrow then. Just as I was about to reply sure, Chun Chin suddenly marched out of the hospital room. She snatched the phone straight out of my hand, checked the caller ID, and without even asking for an explanation, instantly hung up the call. What did she say to you? Is she trying to lure you away from me again? Oh, it's nothing big, really. Oh, so it's really nothing, huh? Then why did you have such a dead serious look on your face just now? You even snuck out here all by yourself just to answer her call. Are you going to spill the truth or not? Because if you don't talk right now, then right here, right now. Hey, there's so many people watching us right here. What are you trying to do? Oh, honestly, you secretly love the idea of me kissing you, don't you? You're just too shy to actually say it out loud, aren't you? The moment the words left her mouth, she leaned in dangerously close. Hey, hold on. This is a public place. I gently pushed her back, explaining. Pei Rian just said she has something important to tell me tomorrow. What important business could that girl possibly have with you? Getting rid of Song Ting was one thing, but now she's crawling back to bug you again. The biggest business deal for the Pei family has always been securing a wealthy son-in-law. After all, don't talk about her like that. Ruyan isn't the biological daughter of the Pei family anyway. She has her own secret struggles to bear. Birds of a feather flock together. The next morning in the classroom, I looked over at Pei Ruyan and asked, Ruyan, what's up? Was there something you want to see me about? Come up to the rooftop during lunch break. I have something crucial to tell you in person. I nodded gently toward her, but out of the corner of my eye, I could feel Chin glaring intently at the two of us without unblinking eyes. At noon, on the school rooftop, Pei Rian stood silently by the balcony railing. Pei Rian stood silently right beside the railing, the wind blowing through her beautiful, flowing long hair. Ruyan, yeah, Yi-chin, you're here. She lowered her head with a shy, flustered blush. Today, I really wanted to ask you about something. I need your help with something important. Could you pretend to be my boyfriend? I stared at her in utter shock. Pretend? Ever since that night at the gala, my adoptive parents found out about us, and they've been constantly putting immense pressure on me. As you know, I'm not their biological child. So for years, they've been forcing me to hang out with a scumbag like Song Ting. A total creep like him. I just need you to play the role for a little while. As long as they see that I'm already taken. Maybe they'll finally stop pushing me into a corner. Would that be okay? But if you don't agree, it's completely fine. Pei Rian lowered her head in visible disappointment. I gazed down at her, recalling the tiny figure that used to shield me from bullies when we were kids. I'll do it. But just to be clear, we aren't actually an official couple. You understand that, right? Thank you so much, Yi-chun. I completely understand. The two of us walked down the stairs one after the other, only to find Chun Chin waiting right there in the hallway. Yi-chun, you're finally back? The moment Pei Ruyan spotted her, she intimately leaned in close to me, staring right back at Chun Chin. Staring at her overly affection movement, Chun Chin asked in complete disbelief. The top heartthrob of University D, Yi-chun, is officially my boyfriend now. No, wait, don't. Please don't tell her. With her fiery, straightforward personality, if she finds out this is fake, word will definitely reach my adoptive parents, and then they'll just force me into another arrangement. If that happens, everything we just planned will completely go to waste. Hearing Pei Ruyan's desperate plea, I bit my lip tightly, ultimately failing to voice out a single denial. Yi-chin, are you really getting together with her? Staring at our intimate posture, the corners of her eyes flushed blood red. After choking out those words, she shot me a look of agonizing heartbreak, then turned around and stormed off. My chest instantly felt suffocated and heavy. Chun Chin. Irritated Chun Chin. Yi-chin. Don't forget to come over to my house this weekend. If we're acting, we have to put on a complete show, right? Pei Rian called out softly from right behind me. During the afternoon class, Chun Chin was nowhere to be found in the classroom. I made several phone calls, but none of them went through. Her messages remained strictly on read, without a single reply. Chin had once again completely vanished from my life. When the weekend finally arrived, I arrived right on time at Pei Ruyan's family home as promised. The Pei family residence was a lavish, standalone luxury villa. The Pei couple was already standing by the entrance, waiting to greet me. Young Master Jiang, you finally arrived. You two can just call me Yi-chun, it's totally fine. Ruyan told us that. The two of you have known each other since childhood. What a wonderful twist of fate. Yi-chun, I heard that you aren't living at the family mansion, but actually living all by yourself outside? Haha, young and capable indeed, carrying your own weight like a real man. The fact that I was living alone outside was something even Pei Ruyan didn't know. I couldn't help reevaluating her father with a sharp, guarded gaze. Your mother must be swamped with work. Young Master Jiang, please try these homemade pastries I made myself. Third aunt is offering you a treat. Do try some. Watch your boundaries. I got it, geez. Ruyan, your third aunt is just being hospitable. Father Pei gently patted Pei Ruyan's hand, then pushed the pastry plate directly toward me. Yi-chun, don't be shy. Go ahead and eat. Ruyan, you have a bite instead. You must be starving by now. Instantly, the expressions of both Mother Pei and the woman in the red dress shifted dramatically. Pei Ruyan shot me a deeply grateful look. All right, since everyone is here together now, let's get straight down to business. Yi-chun, since the two of you are so deeply in love, it's best to settle this matter officially as soon as possible. Uncle Pei, that's actually exactly what I wanted to discuss. Ruyan and I have already talked it through. We plan to go abroad to study in the United States together right after graduating high school. Wedding ceremonies are quite tedious and complicated, so waiting until our studies overseas are fully settled before hosting it won't be too late. This is also my mother's explicit intention. She believes young people should build their careers first. Oh, I see. Ha ha. Oh, her. Wahaha. Since it's CEO Anne's proposal, let's just go with whatever you two prefer. The expressions on Mother Pei and third aunt's faces remained exceedingly ugly. Yet neither dared to utter another word. Pei Ruyan secretly let out a long sigh of relief, quietly sending me a deeply grateful glance. I nodded subtly in return, yet my mind was completely consumed by the haunting memory of Chun Chin storming off with bloodshot eyes. It felt like a tiny needle piercing right into my heart, leaving me utterly suffocated and restless. This hypocritical visit finally drew to a close. The second I stepped out of the Pei family mansion, I immediately pulled out my phone and dialed Chin Chin's number. Through the receiver, that same cold, automated voice echoed. The number you have dialed is currently unreachable. 1917, my fingers gripped the phone so tightly that my knuckles turned pale. My hand gripped the phone so violently that my knuckles turned pale white. This was the third consecutive day she had vanished into thin air. And for the very first time, I felt such a wave of sheer panic and terrifying dread wash over me. I knew her far too well. She appeared arrogant, domineering, and reckless, covered in sharp thorns from head to toe, all because she was forced to protect herself within that cold, loveless family. I was one of the extremely few people who had ever managed to enter her guarded heart. And yet, just to help Pei Ruyan, I had personally shoved her right back into the dark abyss. Navigating the familiar path, I made my way to her apartment door, knocking on it with soft, anxious taps. Chin Chin, it's me. Yi-chun. Chin Chin, I know you can hear me inside. Pei Ruyan and I aren't actually together. It's all an act. I was only helping her deal with her family's pushy demands. I'm not deceiving you. I've never lied to you. With a crisp click, the door slowly swung open. Chin Chin stood quietly in the doorway, her eyes swollen and red like walnuts, with deep, dark circles cast heavily beneath them. Her entire figure seemed visibly frail and emaciated. The sight of her made my heart wrench with excruciating pain. So it's fake, huh? Then back then. Why didn't you explain it to me, Yi-chun? I genuinely thought you were different from everyone else. Ever since I was little, nobody ever truly loved me. My father only ever obeys my stepmother, and that woman treats Pei Ruyan like a precious treasure, while treating me like an unwanted, extra bastard child. It wasn't until university that I finally met you. Only you didn't despise me, or push me away. I reached out my hand and tenderly wiped away her flowing tears, my fingertips gently touching her warm skin. My voice was filled with soft yet absolute certainty. I'm so sorry. Chun-Chin. It was entirely my fault. Pei Ruyan was my childhood friend, and she was being forced into a marriage by her adoptive mother. She was driven into a corner, so I only helped her pretend to be her boyfriend to appease her family. I have never liked her like that, and I've never once considered being with her. In my heart, from the very beginning to the end, there has only ever been one person. You, Chun-Chin. It has only ever been you. Is that really the truth? It's 100% the truth. I tightly grasped her hand in mine. That first time at the university food street, when you kissed me, my heart skipped a beat in total chaos. After that, around campus, you pretended to target me everywhere, but my gaze was always unconsciously following your every move. Your mouth was fierce, yet you constantly protected me, cared for me, and even put your life on the line for me. Chun-Chin, ever since that night on the food street, I had already fallen for you. I had already started loving you. Tears streamed down Chun-Chin's face even faster as she threw herself into my arms, clinging to me desperately. You're not allowed to deceive me ever again. You're never allowed to leave me all alone again. I promise. I will never do that ever again. I gently stroked her back as the heavy boulder hanging in my heart for the past 3 days finally dropped to the ground. Her apartment wasn't huge, but it was kept exceptionally neat and tidy with walls covered in race car posters. In the corner rested a sleek racing helmet. Every single nook was filled with her vibrant energy. Just like that, I sat beside her for a long time, waiting for her to calm down completely, before slowly laying out every detail of the full truth. Pei Ruyan came looking for me, claiming she was being targeted, so she asked me to fake being her boyfriend. Not long after, the doorbell chimed. I walked over to open the door, only to find Pei Ruyan standing right outside, carrying a heavy bag of fresh fruit in her hand. And seeing that Chun-Chin had finally regained her composure, she took the initiative to step forward. Chun-Chin, I'm so sorry. Before this, I totally took advantage of you, Chun, intentionally creating a misunderstanding just to make you upset. I am truly, deeply sorry. Chun-Chin's gaze still carried a subtle hint of distant coldness, yet the sharp, biting edge she usually wore had entirely faded away. You're the absolute precious treasure held gently in the palms of the Pei family. So why on earth would you apologize to an unwanted nobody like me? Pei Ruyan let out a bittersweet laugh, her eyes shining with a sense of pure relief. I'm just an adopted child. So that agonizing feeling of relying on others' mercy is something I understand better than anyone. I can clearly see how deeply you care about Yi-Chun. I should have never used such a selfish and toxic tactic to hurt you like that. At the end of the day, both of us are just starved for genuine love and affection. There's really no need for us to make life miserable for each other. Chun-Chin remained dead silent for a brief moment, staring directly into Pei Ruyan's sincere eyes, before finally giving a subtle, gentle nod. Whatever happened in the past, let's just let it go. Every single misunderstanding that had built up among the three of us was finally completely untangled and resolved. At this very moment, Chun-Chin had ultimately realized the undeniable truth. I had never chosen anyone else. From the very beginning to the absolute end, the person I chose was always her. Back on campus, Song Ting and Song Luo still hadn't given up on using their family background to cause endless trouble for the two of us. However, those idiots failed to realize that after the Sioux Corporation collapsed into dust, the Song family had lost their ultimate pillar of support, and their former glory was long gone. Song Ting intentionally tried to spread malicious rumors about me and Chun-Chin across campus, only to be dramatically exposed right on the spot by Xiao Linlin and a whole crowd of classmates. Overwhelmed with shame and rage, he tried to swing his fist at them, only to be tackled by campus security and handed a severe disciplinary strike. Not long after that, the entire capital chain of the Song Corporation snapped completely, forcing them to declare absolute bankruptcy. Song Ting and Song Luo plummeted from high and mighty, arrogant young masters to pathetic, disgraced rejects, shunned by everyone they once knew. In the end, they were forced to transfer schools and leave Shangzhou behind forever, and were never heard from ever again. Seeing how close Pei Ruyan was with me, her stepmother and third aunt no longer dared to carelessly force her into a political marriage. Pei Ruyan was finally liberated from her shackles, focusing wholeheartedly on her studies and taking big strides toward her real dreams. Shenyi, Chun Qin's father, tried to come looking for her a few times later on, desperately wanting to make up for his past mistakes. But Chun Qin cold-shouldered him and shut him out every single time. The freezing indifference of those agonizing years wasn't something a few insincere apologies could ever erase. She simply wanted a peaceful, tranquil life that truly belonged to her alone. After Xiao Linlin's injuries had completely healed, she triumphantly returned to the racing track. With the constant support of Chun Qin and me, she trained relentlessly until she finally snatched the crown at the National Collegiate Racing Championship, rising as a brilliant, highly anticipated rookie driver. I also finally resolved the bitter knot in my heart regarding my mother. She put aside a portion of her overwhelming workload to frequently spend quality time with me, letting the motherly warmth I had missed out on for so many years slowly, piece by piece, return to my life. I was no longer the lonely, insecure teenager who used to get mercilessly bullied all those years ago. On the day of our university graduation, the flame trees across campus bloomed with breathtaking, fiery brilliance. I, Chun Qin, Pei Ruyan, and Xiao Linlin walked shoulder to shoulder through the campus grounds, bright sunlight filtering through the canopy and casting a golden glow over us. The absolute pure gentleness of our youth. Chun Qin leaned softly against my shoulder, her iconic fiery red hair fluttering in the breeze as she flashed a radiant smile. We're taking the grad school entrance exams in the exact same city. I'm going to cling to you forever and annoy the heck out of you for the rest of your life. Following me for a lifetime? You're definitely not allowed to go back on your word, got it? Ru Ying gazed at the two of us, her eyes brimming with heartfelt blessings. I'm going to pursue literature, and in the future, I'll write countless heartwarming stories to heal the painful wounds of those who were once broken, just like us. Xiao Linlin chimed in with fierce pride. And as for me, I'm going to keep snatching trophies. A national championship isn't enough. I want to conquer the world championship, so everyone on Earth can witness my speed. Every ounce of pain and dark misery had finally receded into the distant past, and every single wound we had endured, along with every tear we had shed, turned into shiny badges of our personal growth. Chun Qin and I both crushed our grad school entrance exams, getting admitted into the exact same university. I majored in finance and slowly began taking over the reins of my mother's empire, growing into a capable, fierce, and independent young entrepreneur. Chun Qin never gave up on her passion for racing, rising to become the youngest female race car driver in the entire nation. Out there on the tracks, she remained the absolute brightest, most dazzling star of all. Pei Ruyan returned from her studies overseas as a published author, using her powerful pen to weave stories that deeply healed people's broken hearts. One afternoon, right as I wrapped up a grueling 3-hour project meeting, 2119, my phone lit up with a sweet notification text from Chun Qin. A new message from Chun Qin suddenly popped up on my phone screen. There's an exhibition race at the suburban track tonight. I saved the prime VIP seat just for you. Get your butt over here ASAP. I smiled softly and typed back. On my way right now. Can't wait to watch Racer Chen snatch another championship trophy. As twilight slowly fell over the city, the racetrack was illuminated by brilliant, blazing stadium lights. Chun Qin was already standing beside her custom race car, and the moment she spotted me, she jogged over with a playful pout. Humph, I thought you were so obsessed with work that you completely forgot your wife was waiting at the track. I replied smoothly, no matter how crazy busy I get, I will never, ever miss a single one of my wife's races. Are you feeling nervous? You've been preparing for this for 3 full months. Victory is practically guaranteed. I'm just waiting to grab that trophy. so we can head home and you can throw me a grand victory feast. Winning or losing doesn't matter to me. Your safety comes above everything else. She pulled her helmet on, locking eyes with me through the clear visor. Don't worry. I'll definitely cross the finish line safe and sound, then head straight home with you. Her crimson race car sliced through the dark night like a lightning bolt, looking fierce and unstoppable. 20 minutes later, the checkered flag waved as the race concluded. Chen Qin dominated the track and secured the championship title. Tearing off her helmet, she sprinted straight toward me, her eyes brimming with sheer thrill and absolute joy. Well, is your wife legendary or what? Damn right, you always have been, in my heart. You will forever be the brightest star in the universe. Right at that moment, Pei Rian walked over with a gentle smile, offering her warmest congratulations. Huge congrats on taking the championship title again. Phew, Chen Qin, thank goodness you made it just in time. Thank you so much. By the way, speaking of you, your newly published book is so hot right now. My championship trophy. It's just a story about growth and self-healing. It really can't compare to you two. One of you is chasing the wind on the racetrack, while the other holds down the fort so reliably. That's right. Hold fast to the dreams of our youth. And as for me, I'm the luckiest man alive, having successfully brought home the girl I've loved ever since my teenage years. Chen Qin looked up at me with a radiant smile. Let's go take a stroll down the old night market. Hubby, treat me to a grand feast to celebrate. The three of us instantly agreed as the warm, cozy atmosphere of the night market enveloped us. The gentle night breeze blowing away all traces of exhaustion. As we chatted, Chen Qin softly sighed with deep emotion. Back then, everyone tried to convince me to give up, saying that racing was far too grueling. Only you supported me unconditionally, right from the very start. I smiled back warmly. Is already someone who shines so brilliantly on her own. The only thing I could possibly do was to protect that radiant light with everything I had. Time flew by like a fleeting shadow. Chen Qin and I finally concluded our long-term romantic journey, spanning many years, and officially walked down the aisle into marriage. In our third year of marriage, our adorable daughter, Cece, was born into the world. On a peaceful weekend afternoon, Pei Rian came over to visit us at our home. Seeing her best friend arrive, stood up with a warm smile to welcome her inside. Pei Rian handed over a freshly printed picture book that still smelled of sweet ink to our daughter. This is a special gift for Cece. Here you go, sweetheart. Wishing you a life of absolute peace, happiness, and no worries. You too are always spoiling her rotten. Chen Qin naturally leaned against my shoulder, softly reflecting. Time really flies by so fast. Back in the day, desperately fighting just to prove our worth to the world. Now, our careers are stable and flourishing, and our family is completely whole and happy. By the way, how are your preparations coming along for next month's national finals? That's the absolute most critical tournament of the whole year. If you win, you'll be crowned the grand champion of the year. To be completely honest. Honestly, I was actually a little bit nervous back there. You and Cece, can you both come to the track to cheer for me live when the time comes? Having both of you right, there's the only way I can truly feel grounded and confident. I'll be right there by your side through the whole journey. I've already arranged every single thing at the company. Everything clears out to make way for your grand finals. I guarantee with absolute certainty that I won't miss it for the world. Hubby, you're the absolute best. Pei Rian chimed in with an enthusiastic nod. I've also cleared my entire schedule for next month's book signing tours, just so I can be there in person to cheer you on. What's more, I want to take your inspiring journey of chasing your dreams and write it directly into my next novel. Outsiders only ever see the glorious moment I cross the finish line and snatch the brilliant championship trophy. Only you two have ever witnessed my battered, miserable state when I got injured during practice, yet you always completely tolerated and supported me to get where I am today. I gently stroked her soft hair. Those struggles and tears are just as much a part of who you are. I will forever be your unshakable pillar of support. The National Grand Finals unfolded exactly as scheduled with the grandstands at the racetrack completely packed to the brim. The iconic crimson race car surged into the lead and crossed the finish line in glory. As thunderous applause erupted across the arena, little Cece waved her tiny hands with all her might, while Pei Ruyan smiled brightly and snapped photos with her camera to capture this dazzling moment, softly whispering, "True passion will never ever fade." Under the crystal-clear blue sky, I gazed upon my wife shining with breathtaking brilliance out on the racetrack, then looked at my dear friend and our sweet child right beside me, my heart overflowing with profound, complete fulfillment. From childhood sweethearts to lifelong soulmates for the rest of our days, every drop of love and passion has been beautifully reciprocated, and every struggle forward has finally blossomed into absolute perfection.